My name is Alana Smith, and I am a teacher at Butler Educational Complex. I am a high school math teacher for grades 9 through 12, and I teach in Bossier City, Louisiana. I've been teaching at my current school for 2 years and in the same district for five. Um, I started in education at first by accident, but I just enjoyed teaching and helping students that I decided to make it a career. I'm also a third generation teacher. My mother and my grandmother were both teachers, and so I feel like I'm I was destined to be a teacher anyway. Um, and if I could have any other job, um, what would it be and why? I actually plan to open a cafe um, and event planning company after I teach, after I retire from teaching. I love to cook and I love to um, plan events and decorate for different things. And so that is a plan that I have after I stop teaching. And so, next question. How are kids different now than 30 years ago? So, seeing as how I haven't been teaching for 30 years, I don't have the experience of what it looked like in the classroom 30 years ago. So I can only speak to my experience because I was in school 30 years ago. Um, and so I think that 30 years ago, kids were more self motivated and self sufficient. Um, our environments were simpler, and I think they fostered more community, creativity, and responsibility in the students. And so 30 years ago, without the overshadowing of technology and instant feedback, uh, whether it's positive or negative. We just learned to work for what we wanted. And I think that our school environment was less intimidating than it is for kids now. Um, so, how is teaching different from 30 years ago? So, I have to address that the same because I wasn't teaching 30 years ago, but I was being taught. So, I think that 30 years ago, teaching was more just presenting information and expecting students to learn from whichever way the teacher felt comfortable teaching or presenting the information. And I think now our classrooms are more geared to make it opportunities for the students to be able to explore and also to be able to learn the best way that they learn. And so the teachers are teaching now. You have to be more, um, you have to have more adaptability in the classroom to be able to differentiate and um, be able to connect with the student at their level and where they are, and not just what's comfortable for you as a teacher. And I also think that teachers are more like facilitators now than 30 years ago, um, and like tutoring. Um, and then also, of course, you add in the element of technology, which is very different from 30 years ago. If someone um, right now was thinking about coming into teaching, I would tell them that the first thing they need to do is know their content, because that goes a long way as far as being able to work out the kinks in the other aspects of your classroom. If you know your content and you're fluid in your content, it makes a big difference as far as what you have to work on or adjust in the classroom. And I believe that teaching is a live career. And so you're always having to change and adjust to the needs of the students that we serve. And and that service is what we do. Um, I definitely believe teaching is a service job, and we are here to serve our students, and that looks different to a lot of people. But I think that you have to remember that, just like being a nurse or some other healthcare worker or something where you're serving the population that you are working with. I think that teaching is very much the same as that. And to remember also that teaching is not usually about you. So don't take things personally, but do make sure that you take care of yourself. That is very important. And students are a very intricate part of our future. And so just remember that when you look at your future, you want to have invested in the people that will produce your future and be a very large part of it. And so just remember that. One thing I would change to help kids learn better. So, for the most part, my school's population, or the schools that I've previously taught, I teach mostly underprivileged and underrepresented students. And most of them tend to be just statistics or numbers in the system. And our system collectively for students or underprivileged and underrepresented students is designed to make them fail or to set them up for failure. And so one thing I would change to help them learn better is to decrease the class size for students so that they are able to get the attention that they need, the assistance that they need, so they don't feel invisible or overlooked. And then also so that they can experience their own success sometimes. It's easy and way too common for kids to just get lost in the school system or to go through their school careers and not have a connection with anybody or have a positive experience just in their environment. So they just, stay under the radar. And I just believe that every student should be able to be seen, to connect with someone, and to also share in the success of school, even if it's not what you would consider major successes. But a student feeling successful at some point does help with their confidence, and it also helps encourage them to continue to stay in school. And so those are things that are important to me and one thing I would change.